everybody, I'm Sonia and welcome back to There Is Always Takeout. Welcome to my kitchen. Tonight we are going to experiment with a recipe that we have loved for a long time, homemade chicken nuggets. Backstory, this is one of the very first things that I learned how to cook other than scrambled eggs and grilled cheese when I was a brand new bride and a brand new mom living overseas. I've since adapted this recipe as I've learned more, and I've learned a trick that kind of gives it just a little bit of a spin, almost that favorite chicken place that we like that closes one day a week. I don't know if I can name them or not, but we have our own variation of this recipe, so we are going to give it a go and we're going to see how this works in the RV. I don't think it's going to be an issue, but we're going to try making these chicken nuggets with our own recipe. So, alright, so the ingredients that you are going to need for us to make our homemade chicken nuggets, you'll need some all-purpose flour, some breadcrumbs. We like plain, but you can use whatever flavor you'd like, some salt, some Lowry's seasoned salt, a couple of eggs, and some diced up chicken into bites. We like to use chicken breast. Then for the frying portion, you'll need some cooking oil. We use canola, and then a frying pan for that, and we've got a splatter guard. As far as supplies you're going to need, well, we need a pan for the egg and a pan for the dry ingredients, and then of course some tongs in order to grab that. Now this is going to be messy since we're working with grease, so time to bust out the apron. All right, so let's start by getting all of our dry ingredients mixed in and in place. Get stuff out of your way. I don't normally measure, so what I do know is that the flour and the breadcrumbs, I usually do 1-to-1 in terms of what they're doing. So we will start with a couple of heaping tablespoons of each. See how that looks, and just kind of give that a good mix. I'm thinking we're probably going to need another one, so I'm going to go ahead and add in a 1/3 tablespoon of each of those. Get this out of the way. Start mixing it up a little. Then we're going to add in some Lowry's, and we'll put in about right at the tablespoon line of this one as well. Just sprinkle that on. We won't need as much salt since there's already some in the Lowry's and some in the breadcrumbs. So there's 1 pinch, 2 pinch, and a 1/3 pinch for good measure. All right, so let's get this good and mixed up. Break up some of those little flour beads that get in there. Alright, that is ready to go. Before I get the eggs broken open, I need to get the oil going. So let that go ahead and start getting hot. Probably should have done that first, but we'll do it now. Alright, so it doesn't need to be super deep. I have it to where it's covering the bottom. Maybe about 1/4 inch deep on there. We'll flip ours since it will kind of absorb and cook through. So let's put some fire under it and let it start getting warm. You'll know it's warm and ready because you'll start seeing little stripes running across the bottom of it. That's how you know your oil is warm and ready. That is on medium heat, so while that is going, let's get our eggs cracked and whipped up. Need a fork for that. These are backyard chicken eggs, so we didn't wash them, so we'll carefully crack them on the counter instead of on the edge to avoid any contamination. So just give them a good crack. I love that beautiful yellow of homemade chicken eggs. Backyard chicken eggs, not homemade. Are they all homemade? I don't know. It's getting on dinner time. The brain's not working. Okay. Give those a good beating so they're nice and mixed up. And now we'll just wait for the oil to get warm and then we'll start frying. So let's head on over to the stovetop. All right, so we are starting to see little stripes and bubbles in the oil. I don't know how well it'll come up on camera, but that tells us that it is hot. So, time to get those ready. I've already got my plate with paper towels ready to pull them off the grease. So let's move everything over and start the assembly line. So the best method to truly make sure you get a good coating on your chicken is to do the flour, egg, flour dip method. Some people just do flour and then egg. Some people do egg and then flour, but I have found that the overlapping does really well. It's a tip that came from the dad. So let's start getting those in there. Fingers are best, and then you just wash your hands. And I'm the lazy chef, so I drop a whole bunch in here at first. I had to get a paper towel ready for my clumpy fingers. This is very messy. If you want to use a fork, you can. It may be less messy that way. But I'd rather wash hands than dishes. All right. Look at this, already cooking up. Awesome. Keep the egg or the pork handy for the next round. You notice though, they are already cooking up nicely. So if you look closely, to know when to flip them, you'll see that they start getting kind of a white ring around the edge of the chicken. And that gives you a clue that the bottom side is done and they're ready to flip. So we'll keep an eye on that. So getting them ready. only take a couple minutes on each side, so it won't be long. So while those are getting about ready there, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the next batch in the flour and then just continue the process. Those are looking about done. Nice and golden on both sides. Nice color on both sides. All right, there's the first batch. So now let's get the second batch going. All right, so just to be able to show you guys, this batch I'm dropping in right now has no egg wash on it. I just want to be able to show you in case you need an egg-free option, then you can skip the egg step. And I'll show you how that turns out because it is just fine with just the breading. And if you're looking for a gluten-free option, you can actually just salt and season and drop them in and they'll fry up as well. So I'll do a couple of those here in just a few minutes after we get through this batch. So for your gluten-free option, I just mixed a little bit of the Lowry seasoning and a little bit of just the salt. And it doesn't take much, but I just kind of drop these in as well. Now, if you are doing gluten-free, I would recommend doing this in the oil before you have done it with all the flour and everything. If you're cooking for everybody, just kind of gives you an option of not having that flour on there. And again, they don't need to be perfectly coated. And then we'll fry these up next. All right, so back to the batch. This batch, again, has no egg wash on it, so it was only single dipped in the flour. This batch is nice and gold, so we'll pop them out. So these ones that I'm pulling out of the grease right now, you can see are not as thickly coated as this batch that was all flour, egg flour. That was a little thicker, so we'll let it go just a little bit longer. We'll let these finish up, and then we will do the ones with no flour. Turn that grease down, it got a little too cool too fast. All right, last batch, the flourless ones. Unfortunately, like I said, these are going in where flour's already been. And the grease temperature's already been messed with. Typically, I would have done these first, but I just plumb forgot. So just like with the ones with bread, you'll see that it gets the white ring around it. The good thing is, without the flour on it, you can see the chicken starting to cook around the edges, which is great. So it makes it easier to know when they're ready to flip. So this one has the white creeping up the edges, ready to flip. This one, same thing, so we can flip. And we'll just watch these others. With this oven, for some reason, this corner tends to lean a little farther back. So we tend to have more heat in the front than in the back. So it does make for uneven temperatures on both the pans and in the grease as well. So that's been a little bit of a trick trying to figure that out. So the thicker pieces I've just kind of put closer to the front, and the smaller ones that don't need to cook as fast or will cook too fast, I've kind of put them to the back. All right, so our chicken nuggets are ready. I've got a few variations in them. So this big pile back here are the ones that were flour, egg, flour dipped before frying. And you can see they have a little bit of a thicker coating, so if you like that thicker breading, that'll be your method. This part over here were the ones that I just did the flour only, and they were dipped in, and then you can see they have the breading, but they're not quite as thick as these are. And then this is our little gluten-free pile right here. They just had the seasoned salt and the salt on them, and they still have a nice golden color, but they don't have that thick breading. So it will be hard to distinguish between them, but they'll be close enough. So if you have any gluten-free guests in your home or eaters in your home, you can still make them and everybody will look like they're eating the same thing. So that is a great option for you, but that is our homemade chicken nuggets. This one wanted to be sampled. This is our homemade chicken nugget recipe that we have. So now we are going to get our sides ready. We're gonna make up a veggie and grab the yum yum sauce out of the refrigerator, and we're gonna sit down to dinner. So pretty sure this is gonna be an edible winner. I think the only thing that we had as an issue was the uneven heat on the stove with the oil. So just something to be aware of while you're learning how to do this recipe. But we are gonna enjoy dinner. So this is our homemade chicken nugget recipe. I hope you try it. I would love to hear about it, and let me know in the comments down below. Are you a gluten-free, an egg-free, or an all-in breading option? Drop in down there and let me know, and don't forget to like this video, show that support, and subscribe. Follow this channel, get lots of meal ideas where we are trying things that we have cooked for ages and trying out new in the RV or brand new recipes we've never tried before. Until next time, you guys, have a great day.